KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. We're here for the formal announcement of a huge fight, April the 11th, between Dubois and Joyce. Frank, finally it's on.
It's on. We worked hard to get it together, and you've got to admire the two guys for stepping up to the plate and fighting each other at this early stage of their careers.
We were to assume that this fight was going to take place on April the 18th, Frank. What happened for it to change to April the 11th, or was that always the date?
That was always the date. That's why we've not said anything. Everybody's been putting his stuff out here, there and everywhere, but it's the 11th.
How difficult was it we know obviously both fighters are under your banner, but how difficult was it to get this fight on?
Well, they both wanted to fight each other. It's just agreeing, getting the terms sorted out. So that's what we've done, and we are where we are. So, like all these things, you've got to work. Sometimes you have to work a little bit harder to get them together. But they're both very confident. Both of them fancy it big time. So I think the fans are going to be in for a treat now we've got it together.
This fight is on BT Sport box office. Yeah, your thoughts on that, Frank?
Well, that's how we got it on. It's an expensive fight. They're stepping up to the plate very early in their career in a proper, meaningful fight, and they've got to get well paid for it.
It's fair to say that these fighters didn't really have to fight each other next, did they? There was other options on the table for them.
Yeah, absolutely there was. There was other options, but they want to fight each other, and that's where we are.
Any early indication of who could feature on the undercard here, Frank?
No, we're working on the undercard, and it'll be a decent show. I promise you, there'll be some good fights on there.
We saw obviously Joe and Daniel on Good Morning Britain, and I think the sleeping bag came out, and we don't know what's going to happen. I know these are not notoriously known for their talking, but I think we might be pleasantly surprised here.
Daniel's maturing. I mean, as I constantly bore people, he only had 7 senior bouts. He's had 14 pro bouts. He's a young man, and I think he's handling himself and doing extremely well. And Joe was quite vociferous. He was quite on the ball. So I think we're going to see, especially when it gets nearer the fight, I think it's going to be quite interesting.
I remember when you put on the Gale Groves years ago, and people saying, why are these guys fighting each other early? But they went on to have very good careers. Both won world titles. So
world title before the winner.
Absolutely. So, what does it mean for the loser of this fight, Frank?
Well, the loser's going to be gutted, isn't he? That's what it's going to mean. But if he's got anything about him, and depending on how he loses, he's going to have to get himself together and come back.
We're definitely looking forward to it. April the 11th.
The O2.
At the O2. Frank, obviously, a couple of weeks away. I was saying a couple of weeks away from Fury Wilder. I mean, it seemed to have kind of crept round quick, and it will do now.
Great heavyweight fight. When you look at it, we've got the best 2 young guys up against each other, and then you've got that fight on, which is the best 2 heavyweights in the world fighting each other in a rematch of a superb first fight. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be exciting. I think it's going to be dramatic, and I think we're going to see another side of Tyson.
It seems to have kind of obviously changed training teams now. We're bringing in Emmanuel Stewart's nephew, and Ben Davidson's kind of moved away, but Fury seems to have just keeping his head down. I know we've seen a few interviews from him, but he seems to have gone out there and, I don't know, head seems to be a little bit more focused this time, Frank. Is that fair to say?
Well, he's focused last time. I think what it is with him, he's in training camp. That's how seriously he's taken this. He's got to be 100%. He's in with the biggest punching heavyweight in the last 30 years, who any second of a fight can produce a bomb and end the fight, which he's done continuously. He's a massive big hitter. And Tyson's got to be 100% focused for this one. He had a couple of lapses the last fight, and paid the price by going on the floor twice. But he showed what he is, what type of fighter he is, by getting off the floor. Showed what a great chin he's got to get up from those big knockdowns. Differences this time round, a couple of differences. One, he lost a lot of weight going into the last one. He had those 2 knockovers, having been out the ring for nearly 3 years, something like that. And he had to lose 11 stone in weight. That's very debilitating. This time round, he's not got to lose the weight. He's fit, he's raring, he's there to go, and so he's on the money. And obviously he's got a different trainer. And, you know, lots been made of that, but let's get it right. And I said a couple of weeks ago, and I think a few people picked up on it, you know, Ben done a brilliant job in Ben Davison, a fantastic job. But when he appointed him as trainer, everyone said, who's Ben Davison? Young kid, what's he done? You know, Ben done a great job. So Tyson picks him and got it right. And he's decided now he needs to do what he's doing and picked another trainer which he feels will add to his arsenal. So I'm not going to argue with him.
Frank, this year, obviously, as unpredictable as heavyweight boxing is, we know we're getting Wilder Fury, but past that, for the second part of the year, we don't know what fight's going to happen. We saw some comments recently where Eddie Hearn suggested that a fight like Fury and Joshua, if that was to happen, could take place in Saudi Arabia. I'm sure you would have seen them comments, Frank. What did you think about that?
Well, yeah, take place where the money is. That's it. But it won't be 60-40, 70-30, it'll be a 50-50 fight. Simple as that. You know, wherever it takes place, if Tyson wants it, we'll make sure it happens.
Ultimately, that's what's important, isn't it?
Well, his next fight, you know, irrespective of who wins and loses on the 22nd, the loser has the right to call for a rematch. So that's where he's at. AJ's got Pulev, then he's got to fight Usyk, so he's got or vacate the belt. So he's got, again, in a position where he's got 2 fights lined up. So if it does happen, it won't be until next November, unless somebody steps aside.
I was going to say that's kind of a little bit been underplayed, that there's the huge potential of a third fight, depending on how that second fight goes.
Yeah. Well, it's contracted, so it's up to the loser, if he wants it, to call it.
But first things first, Feb 22nd, massive fight.
Yeah, it's a great fight, fans fight. You know, it's half as good as the last one, half as dramatic as the last one. It's still a great fight, and I'm really looking forward to it.
It's just impossible to just kind of play it out in your head. You can play out every situation.
I just look at what, you know, the two guys, what they bring to the party. You know, Deontay is we all know anyone knows he's a big puncher. He's not a fantastic boxer. In his last fight, he was getting outboxed again. So he ain't going to outbox Tyson. He's going to have to knock him out. So you know that's what he's going to be looking to do. So that should be exciting.
Frank, just kind of moving on. Is there a possibility that Anthony Yarde could feature on this bill behind us?
We will see. I'd like him to be on it. We'll see.
Okay, fair enough. Josh Warrington, what's the latest on Josh, Frank?
At the moment, nothing. You know, we were trying to put together a fight with Stevenson, but nothing's going to happen with that till March. So it is what it is.
We saw some reports yesterday that Frampton and Herring could be done for Windsor Park in June. Can you make any comment on that?
I'd like to see that happen in Windsor Park. We'll see again. We'll see what happens.
But I'm assuming you're in talks to make that fight right now.
Well, you know, if he fights in this country, then that's the deal. You know, but Top Rank have got him for the States, and if he fights here, then we're in it. We do it, same as with Tyson.
Did you watch the YouTube boxing a week ago, Frank?
What?
The YouTube fight. Did you watch that?
What one was that one?
The one on the DAZN Miami card recently between two YouTubers. Did you watch it? No. I thought you watched all boxing, so.
The one between who?
The fight was between Jake Paul and Anisan Gibb.
Jake Paul, who got beat by the... Oh, is that the brother?
That's the brother of Logan Paul.
Oh, right. Yeah, I only watch boxing, I told you. You said it. I watch all boxing.
Fair enough.
I'll go down the amateur club if I want to see that. If I want to go and see that, I'm not talking about the amateurs, I'm talking about the novices if I want to go and see that. If I want to be entertained.
Fair enough. What's the situation regarding Liam Williams at the moment? Obviously, we saw Andrade beat Luke Keeler recently, but what is his situation regarding that?
I believe he'll fight for a world title before June. That's what we're working on.
It's a good for Liam Williams, obviously. Yeah.
He can win it. I mean, he's very comfortable, isn't he, at that weight? And his last performance was a superb performance. You know, he boxed so well. I thought it's probably one of the performances of the night.
All All right, we look forward to that. Well, Frank, we should have a longer, in-depth catch-up next week because we know the press conference.
We've got lots of things to talk about.
We haven't had a sit down in quite a while, Frank, you know.
So let's.
The biscuits run dry in your office, Frank, that's what it was.
And I've got to use some of them old hardtack ones that the old sailors used to have when they go on the old voyages. I've got you some of them. Don't worry. And your special mug.
Yeah, I've always got a special mug there.
One's the one I keep my teeth in at night.
Frank, just to finish off, yeah, like I said, get your tickets now from the ticket website's actually behind you, ticket-access.com. Great fight, April 11th. Tune in, be there.
Superb. Two guys, who are getting it on, are showing no concern about or fear about losing the fight. They both fancy it big time. And I honestly, I don't think it's going to go the distance. Not with these two knockout merchants.
Are you backing anyone in this, Frank, or are you sitting on the fence with this one?
I'm going to sit. Am I sitting on the fence? No. I'm backing Daniel Dubois. That's why I made it.
Fair enough.
And Joe's a lovely fellow. We promote him. So me and Sam Jones, he keeps telling me what he thinks is going to happen, so we'll see. One of us is going to be wrong, that's for sure.
He reckons he's going to throw a table at you today, Sam Jones.
You better be able to run.
All right, we look forward to this press conference anyway. Frank Warren, thank you very much on to IFL TV, and we'll have a catch up next week.
We will do that. All the best. Thank you.
Gold Star Promotions is proud to present Floyd Money Mayweather. The man himself is coming to the UK for his UK tour, February and March 2020. For all info and tickets, goldstarpromotions.co.uk.